Good evening, ladies, gentlemen, and all variations thereof, and welcome back to Shadows of Sorcery, Session 47. I am joined today by our intrepid band of skyship crashers, playing Ingvar Svan, our one-legged ranger, Lydia. Meh. Playing our dwarven golem, Darren Moran is lying.
Hello.
And last but not least for today's lineup, unless somebody joins us later on, we have the librarian, our not always blue-skinned academic, as played by Zarian.
Hello, I'm the librarian, and you're watching the Dismal Channel, Eldritch Blast.
Yes. So, who wants to recap?
A little bit of a mess, wasn't it?
That's one way to that's one way to do it. Yes. I'll go for the recap today. Okay. So, last time, our intrepid party of adventurers crashed a skyship into a poor farmer's field.
We were very apologetic and gave so much effort to help.
You helped clear it away. You managed to stop one of the engines from exploding. The other two went up in flames. You assisted, and then you were directed towards Devilmora, where you traveled for most of the day until you arrived at the steps up the cliffside, all the way to the town of Devilmora. You spent the night on those steps and had some interesting encounters with some odd figures. In the morning, you arrived at Devilmora. You located the person of interest, shall we say, that you were looking for, and it turned out that they had been murdered. You have searched through the wreckage of their home, if you will, taken a look at what's around and what might define what they were doing before they were killed and who might have killed them. The home of Olger Antfen was essentially trashed a little. Some parts, some stuff had been stolen from what you could tell, and they left a cloaker, a fiendish entity behind as a trap to catch anyone out who came looking. You defeated this enemy, and you gleaned some information that may indicate that Olger had run afoul, or had been working with, perhaps, the Carnifex Syndicate in the production of alchemical creations that could allow for similar effects to a polymorph spell. Eventually, the Marshal had to shoo you out, but you have a vague idea of what Olger was working on at this point. Transmutational potions that would allow someone to go from their natural form to that of an animal or other creature. You gained a few vials of odd liquid, and you are now trying to figure out what to do next. So, what are we doing next, my friends?
I suppose we need to try and round up some suspects, but I suspect that they're not native. They're not locals.
I mean, how long ago were they killed? We might be able to track magic residuals from them using a polymorph or something and walking away.
So, from what you guys were able to tell, the body has been there for likely maybe a week. However, the Marshal informed you that the last time he spoke to Olger was 2 days ago.
Okay, he probably got taken out a couple of days ago. That is assuming that there wasn't any huge amounts of, like, preservation by the sheer cold, but the inside of the cabin was relatively comfy.
It was... The fire wasn't lit, but it wasn't freezing, essentially. It was like someone had left it empty for a week, essentially. It didn't feel like it was, like, freezing cold preservative temperatures. Just as if someone had stepped out for a little while and not lit any fires.
It might have happened just shortly after he got back from his last trek. Otherwise, the cabin would probably have been a bit warmer.
So I guess we should probably investigate the last place that they were seen then, and see if anyone else saw them and what direction they went.
Might also do us good to find out, if possible, where he was coming back from. Since I'm presuming that nobody in this town can, like, summon a demon or whatever the hell that thing was, it's probably not someone local to the area, which means we need to look outside of the area where he was, meaning where he went.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Reminder, Darren has a +9 on investigation.
Okay, so what do you want to do?
Let's split up and look for clues, guys.
Yeah, I'm gonna investigate around the town to see what people know about his comings and goings most recently. and especially if anybody had a grudge.
Okay.
I'm gonna investigate where they last were seen.
Ingvar?
He's probably just tag along with Darren.
Okay.
Guess somebody needs to get a foot to the heat or something. Tim.
Prod and Visera sort of look around at you guys and go, well, I don't mind investigating, but it's fucking cold here. We're gonna investigate at the tavern. And Visera kind of nods along, and they depart for however long you guys will be doing this, or until
until for however long it is until the players arrive.
Exactly. Exactly.
Just keep rolling con saves for them for the drinks.
Okay. So, which direction in the town do you guys want to go? Essentially, it's not a big town. It's just kind of one main street and a few side alleys. But
am I right in thinking that the tower, like just further up the road, is like the outer perimeter?
it's the outer edge of sort of the upper mountain edge of the town. It's like it looks like a large watchtower of some sort.
Right. I guess I will go back down the road. Just work my way along the buildings there.
Okay. Roll me an investigation check.
Oh boy. I hope my dice don't mess me up. That's a +9. Eh. I have no idea where that went.
Goodbye, dice. You have ended
14.
up with 14. Okay. First thing you notice is that the sort of the snowy-ish path that leads up to Olga's cabin, or Olga's former cabin, perhaps, it's not well traveled. It looks like he only comes into town and stays for a few days at a time and then disappears for weeks. You do see a set of footprints, but it's very difficult to tell whose footprints they are because they're also mingled with all the other footprints that have been coming and going from the cabin today specifically. When your entire party went up to the cabin and so on and so forth. And all the footprints all sort of end at the edge of the sort of main road in the town.
Okay, so we've probably destroyed all of the evidence that I could have used to figure out who came in, but given how highly tracked this area is anyways, that was really unlikely in the first place. Alright, well, I guess I'm tavern bound to meet the local residents.
Okay. Librarian?
Going to the last place they said goodbye to them to look for clues.
Look for clues. So you sort of search around and ask about where, like, who saw Olga last. Roll me an investigation check as you
Okay.
speak. Investigation or persuasion?
Investigation.
Yeah.
Let's make my
Whichever
better
you
one.
prefer.
Let's see what I got. Excuse me, roll 20. 12. Wow, that sucked.
Not doing well, sir, are we?
You speak to a few individuals regarding Olga. Most of them tell you the same thing. He comes in to town every few weeks, stays for a few days, gathers supplies, then leaves again. One of the sort of villagers does say, Olger, yes, he's always been very interested in the old dwarven stronghold in the mountains. I think he was studying the ruins, but I don't know. I wouldn't know how to get there. It's quite far in.
Dwarven stronghold?
That sounds like a pretty good clue to me.
Yeah, I never heard about there being anything this far.
So, as a note,
Oh.
you guys have heard of the Dwarven Stronghold. The Dwarven Stronghold of Farandan. It sits in the Cragstead Mountains. You guys have seen it in passing, because part of it is a massive dam that sits at the top of the river that comes out of the Cragstead Mountains. You guys passed the entrance to the pass that goes to this dam when you were traveling through the mountains earlier in the campaign.
Oh
You
yeah,
didn't-
the dwarven stronghold of Dandadan. I remember now.
You didn't know its name, but as you speak to the villagers, you seem to recall something like what looked like massive dwarven construction that had been put essentially straight across one of the canyons. But that's about all you can remember.
I mean, I didn't know its name, but it just had a good, strong Dandadan kind of vibe to it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You ever see somebody and think they look like a Dave?
Yeah?
Yeah, that stronghold has big Dandadan energy.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you want to... What did you want to do, Darren?
I was going to the tavern to talk to the local residents, which I believe the librarian has already beaten me to.
Yes. I'll if you want to do a persuasion roll, I'll let you.
I am, in fact, even better at persuasion than I am at investigation.
Mm.
Let's see what my +10 can get me. Maybe somebody has a courage they're not telling. Come on, dice. Come on. 29!
Ooh, 29. Okay.
Somebody is spilling the tea.
You enter the tavern just as you see the librarian sort of talking to a few different people, listening to a few villagers. You sidle up to a few of them. You hear someone in the back of the tavern, muttering under his breath. An older gentleman, maybe in his 70s, with like wispy grey hair and a really short goatee. And you turn to him and he says, Olga brought nothing but trouble to this town.
Well, guess I'm sliding into that old man's DMs. So hey, what did you mean by that?
The elderly gentleman sort of turns to you and goes, "Oh, no, don't mind me. It's just strange people used to visit Olga when he was in town. He was." And he sort of he averts himself from the other patrons, and he sort of puts a hand up and he says, he was consorting with devils, I think.
You think? What gave you reason to think that? That seems like a fairly specific accusation.
I don't like to talk about it in polite company. But, the people who used to visit, they were always wearing black robes and carrying knives, and I swear one of them had horns and burning fire behind their eyes. It gave me the creeps.
I mean, I've seen plenty of people that would meet that description, but not all of them were not all of them were demons and devils.
Nah, you mark my words, whatever this one was, he was a creature of elves. He was evil, I could tell.
How recently did they happen to stop by?
A week ago, maybe? A week.
Sometimes you happen to know of anyone in the local area who might have been similarly skittish around Olga?
No. Everybody, well, most people liked Olga. Well, yeah, now most people liked Olga, but he kept to himself.
Oh, you've been very informative, sir. Just gonna slide a silver coin his way. And
Much obliged.
remove myself.
Okay. Just then, the doors to the tavern sort of slam open, and you see now this sort of wintry blizzard has started to pick up in the mountains as someone sort of steps into the tavern and shakes snow and sort of wet ice off of his cloak and boots, and orders around. And you look out the window and you see that this sort of massive sort of blizzard has started to roll in across the town. And it looks like it's going to be going for a while. So, what do you guys want to do?
Well, we're probably not getting anywhere else from that storm. I think we're gonna be stuck in town for a bit.
Yep.
The bartender sort of turns to you all and says, well, what can I get you? It looks to be a little chilly outside, so might as well make yourselves comfortable.
Well, I had a rough day. I'm gonna order, let's see, your third strongest alcohol.
Third strongest.
I'm not feeling bold enough for the first.
All right.
Even the second, I guess.
Third strongest and second strongest. All right.
Sure, second strongest.
Wait, what? I'm confused. I thought you said you...
One second strongest and one third strongest, sir.
Yes, right. And he turns around to this sort of he grabs a two sort of big mugs of ale off the top of the this sort of large dresser that's behind him. He grabs two big mugs, slides one under a tap, and just pulls. And you Darren, end up with this relatively large mug of what looks to be a relatively pale ale of some sort. Then he grabs the other mug, pulls another tap, and you, librarian, end up with what looks to be a rather murky, sort of dark substance. That looks a little gloopy, one might say. And what about you, young man? He points to you, Ingvar.
I wasn't not really in the mood for drinking, let's be honest. I'll just take some water if you don't mind.
Water, right? Coming right up. He grabs a glass. That's a little dirty. The glasses don't seem to get much use here in the tavern. Grabs a glass, sticks his hand out the window that's next to the bar, and just dips it in a barrel of ice-cold fresh water, and sort of puts it down on the counter and says, here you are, young man.
Thank you.
Okay. Have drinks. You are in a relatively warm place. If you plan to drink, roll me a constitution check.
Oh boy.
Okay.
I knew it was coming. Yep. Oh, thank God, I forgot
14.
to random one. 8.
14 and 8. Okay, so your pale ale is very pale. It's not particularly strong, Darren. It leaves you feeling a little bit like warm, but nothing much else. It's a very weak alcoholic beverage, and you did ask for the weak one.
I did. Technically, I asked for the third strongest, but I guess there might only be like 3 options.
Yeah, I mean, you looked at the bar and there were like 3 taps, so you know. It might not be like the most invigorating thing, but it will at the very least keep you somewhat warm in this harsh weather, and you think that it might be kind of designed for that. Librarian, you stare at this slightly gloopy liquid that the bartender has handed you, and you take a gulp. And the first thing you note is that it's not cold. The liquid itself is actually heated slightly. Probably, again, to deal with this sort of weather. It tastes a little bit like blackberries. And you realize that that's because this is some form of, like, liqueur of some sort. Or at least a derivative of what might be called liqueur. You take another sip, and you do realize that it does start to go to your head, so you consume it relatively slowly, and over the course of an afternoon, you guys start getting acquainted with people here in Devil Mora. You find out a few things in the process. Devil Mora is one of the oldest towns in the Cragstead Mountains. It's also one of the smallest because they don't have any major exports. They're just sort of a trading outpost. You also find out that a lot of the people here sort of ended up here by chance. And generally speaking, were either trying to get away from something in their lives or were trying to leave something behind. So it's kind of a town of like outcasts, or maybe a few refugees, people who were looking for a place to not lay low, but to escape their problems, essentially. Yeah. You guys spend the afternoon in the tavern until the snowstorm outside subsides, and at that point it's relatively early evening. There's a few of the patrons of the tavern sort of wander off, and the bartender, whose name is Olson, he turns to you all and says, well, I know you're new in town. I have a few rooms upstairs if you want to stay the night, or if you need to leave in a hurry, I can always put together some rations.
I think circumstances have conspired to keep us here a little longer.
All right. Rooms are 5 copper a night. We're not the best place, but we're good enough.
Are you the best place in town, or?
We're the only place in town.
Then you are indeed good enough.
Yeah. Indeed we are. And he sort of, he pulls a couple of keys off the wall, hands you them, as you all retire for the evening. Okay. Who is doing what as the night rolls by?
I'm going to take a seat at the table in my room and review the literature I have whilst just kind of twirling one of the vials in my fingers.
Okay. So are you looking for anything in specific within the literature?
Looking for the notes that Alderic made, seeing what kind of things I can figure out and cross-reference and such.
Okay. First things first, what languages can you read?
Oh no. Let me see. Language. Where on earth is that on my sheet? Huh. I don't know.
You don't know.
I cannot find on my sheet anywhere that lists what languages I can speak.
It's bottom left on the first one, right? Or have you got a different sheet?
Lying is using Adventurer's Codex.
Oh, okay.
My best guess is Common, Dwarven, and Thievescan. But given my intelligence, let's also suggest I can read Draconic, as I would definitely have picked.
Hold on. Yeah, you've not... Hmm.
Yeah, there's no entry for it here, so...
I'm gonna
Just
check your
gonna
Roll20 character
see-
sheet very quickly.
Oh,
Because I know that it's not, like, up to date, but it should have the original languages you learned on it. So I'm gonna quickly make sure that you can read these. If it'll open. There we go. Character. Darren.
is it also blank?
It is also blank. Great.
Okay, right. Well, I definitely speak Common, and I definitely speak Fusecant, and I presumably speak Dwarven.
Yes, I mean, you would be fluent in Dwarven and Common.
And I had an intelligence modifier of at least +1 when we started, so... pick Draconic, I guess.
Okay. Very well. So, these texts are written in a combination of Draconic and a language that you are not familiar with. You...
Anger Boys?
What?
What was that tune? That sounded familiar in a terrifying way.
That was the sound of a Tarask dropping on the village. That was my alarm. Sorry. You've probably heard it before because it usually goes off around this time on a Wednesday. You roll me an intelligence check.
+5. Yep. 23.
23, not bad. Okay, so you look through these documents and texts, and from what you can gather, Olga Antfen was working on direct transmutation, essentially. Transmutation that does not require the use of casting a spell, speaking an incantation, etc., etc. Currently, his experiments were only going so far as small animals.
As into or from?
Into. So, essentially, transmutation from human or sentient being into animals, replicating essentially the wild shape ability that some druids possess. But one of the major things that he'd had issues with was transferring the mental capacities of a person into a creature of that size while still maintaining that mental ability, essentially. Essentially, he was trying to work on a polymorph spell that would allow you to keep your intelligence score while also being a potion, which apparently was a lot more complicated than he had originally thought. There are some notes in a runic script that you do not recognize. Some parts that are in Draconic that are relatively easy to understand, but that have formulas in an incomplete text language, essentially, that you can't really figure out. Eventually, you find reference to the funding for his experiments, and the reasons that he was delving into the dwarven city of Tharandam. Partially for heritage reasons, as Olga was a dwarf, and partially for reasons that you cannot discern because that part of the page has been burnt away. You do what you see regarding where he was getting the funding for his experiments. You note that he met some strange people who offered to fund his experiments. They called themselves the Carnifex, and he had no idea who the Carnifex were, but he quickly learnt just what kind of price the Carnifex would demand from him. Essentially, all of his research and experiments were turned to their advantage. And the last few paragraphs of his notes state he's close to a breakthrough with the mental capability transference, and that he doesn't want to put this sort of ability into the Carnifex's hands. And that's where it ends.
So they may have just killed him to get it either way.
Either they killed him to get it, or he refused to give it to them, and they killed him so that he wouldn't
Talk.
Yeah.
Damn. Talking is what I most wanted him to do. Well, that's me bedding down for the night after that.
Okay. Librarian, what are you doing before bed?
I'm going to attempt to finally properly fix the anti-magic device.
Okay. Roll me an Arcana check.
Can I use my tinkering tools since I'm an artificer?
Yes, you can.
I also invoke the thing that's good. Divergent Persona.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I definitely needed that because that was a 1. Let me just remember what this exactly does. Proficiency bonus is doubled. Okay, so that is actually a 17.
17. That is still a natural 1.
Yep, but it's a 17.
17. You do not make any progress in repairing this device. You also don't break it any further. A natural 1 usually would have caused you to break it further. Because of your proficiency bonus, I will say that you managed to evade further damage. But the arcana of this device still eludes any attempt to repair it. As of this moment. It is
Okay.
an extremely complicated piece of equipment.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay. What about you, Ingvar? What are you doing before bed?
Oh, he just face planted straight into the bed. He's
fair
out like a
enough.
light.
Fair enough.
Just bump, gone.
Okay.
Well, no, he fed the dragon and then he went to bed.
He fed the dragon, then he went to bed. Yes,
Yeah.
fair enough. Okay. So, you all take a long rest. Consider yourselves rested and recovered. The next morning, the blizzard has abated fully. There are a few people in the streets. There's not much activity going on. You all wake up relatively early. What is your next plan? Where are you going from here?
Is the storm still going?
No, the storm has abated.
Well, now that we can actually get out of there in a reasonably okay condition, I think we need to go and see what Olga was working on.
Yep, that sounds right.
We need to go to the stronghold of Dendadan.
Of Dandadan.
Of Dendadan.
Da-da-da-da.
Do.
Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Mm-hmm.
Da-da.
Okay. So you guys want to head up to Tharandan?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, Dandadan.
All right. Very well. Are you going to grab anything for this short expedition before you go?
Guess I should grab some foods and I think everything else is fine.
You grab some rations, and your party gathers together to set off up into the Kragstead Mountains. It is a perilous trek, and the road is long and winding, but eventually you come to a place that some of you recognize. And I shall quickly grab your minis and set them down where you would need to be. Oh, that's the wrong tab. Okay, here we go. Rod, Isra, Librarian, and Darren. There we go. You may double-click on your portrait to arrive at the location of your minis.
Oh.
Okay. So, you all... It takes the better part of the morning to climb into the Kragstead Mountains and down towards the base of the dwarven stronghold of Tharandan. You turn a corner and look down the long canyon that you actually well, everyone in this call recognizes. Because this is where, and you, librarian, notice this first, this is where a broken, splintered doorway to the Wandering Library sits on the side of a cliff. This was where the librarian entered into this world. And
Yay,
it's where,
callbacks.
yeah, it was a while ago now. But this is essentially where you guys first met the librarian. And you look up the rushing river that sits in this sort of canyon-like basin. And you can see at the end of the canyon this massive dam, this gigantic, ancient feat of dwarven engineering that sits blockading the river at its source.
I'm guessing there aren't any footprints we can follow. Or at least nothing useful.
No.
Given the snowfall.
It was blizzarding last night, and
Yeah.
there doesn't seem to be anything in particular. You do notice that along the side of the river there is a thin, winding path that leads up to the base of the dam.
Oh,
Do we go to the dam, or do we try to go to the stronghold proper? I feel like the stronghold proper is more likely to be where he went. But
As a note, the dam is part of the stronghold proper, from what you've been told.
okay, well, maybe there'll be a set of stairs.
Yeah. Let's just go to the stronghold first, I guess.
Okay. In that case, you all travel along the base of this path down to the very base of this massive structure that sits at the edge, at the very beginning of the river. You can see, you watch at the base of the dam itself, you can see water burbling up into the river and then flowing down as it passes through grates under the water into the passage at the base of the mountain, at the base of the canyon. You notice that the dam itself has several... It's not necessarily a ladder system, but there are grooves in the rock where you can climb to the top of the dam, essentially. What may have once been the rungs of a ancient ladder system.
Well, guess we're climbing.
Okay. It looks slippery, and I would have you guys do a... Yeah? Sorry, was that your phone, Lydia?
yeah.
I would have you all make a group strength, a group athletics or acrobatics check. You can pick either one that you want to do.
I'm better at acrobatics. I've got a
I'm
-2 in athletics.
I'm a +2 on acrobatics.
You can each choose your own. That's what I meant.
Oh,
okay.
okay. So we'll Roll your best, everybody.
7.
Oh no.
Yep. 16. Respectable.
20. Dirty 20.
Rod rolls a 4.
What's their mod?
Bruh, this is like your whole thing.
No, Prod's whole thing is strength.
Well, that's the charisma.
Visera rolls an 18. That's understandable. Okay, so, dirty 20 from Ingvar.
Yeah.
7 from the librarian. And Darren?
16.
16. Okay. So, you all start to make your way up the base of the dam. The handholds are regular, though some are slightly covered in ice. You notice that at the top of the dam, there seems to be what looks like a rope that's wound around the base of one of the large statues that sits at the top, but it hasn't been let down. You and Visera, Ingvar, climb up the front first, managing pretty easily to climb all the way to the top with little to no issue. The handholds are easy enough to cling to, and your metal leg actually makes it easier to keep your footing on the dam's surface, because you can kind of jam it into the footholds. Darren, you have a little bit of a difficulty getting up, but once the other two get to the top, they sort of unlash the rope and throw it down for you and the rest of the party to climb up. Prod barely manages to get 5 feet off the ground before he slides back down because of the slippiness of the handholds. But both he and the librarian managed to make it up to the top of the dam because of the rope and your assistance. I would love it if this functioned better. Okay. You all make it to the top of the dam, and you behold the site of Farandan, a dwarven stronghold that is built into the side of into the face of the mountain on the other side of a massive, very cold-looking lake. The stronghold looks ancient. It's probably been here since the time of the cataclysm. Maybe even earlier. And it is very much abandoned. You, Darren, can tell. If dwarves had been living here, or if dwarves lived here anymore, you would be able to see massive braziers lit on the battlements. You would be able to see patrols. You would be able to see dozens of different peoples around. But at this moment in time, it is cold, empty, and silent as the grave. You also notice that in the front face of this stronghold is a massive metal door. On the other side of the lake, essentially maybe about 5 feet above the waterline, and there is no visible way to get across.
There is no way that Olgar swam across this.
I mean, there's probably some kind of mechanism, right? These are dwarves.
A little prejudicial there, but sure, yes.
I mean, also
There was
there's a
probably
big
a way.
fuck-off door, and there's probably a bridge, you know?
Well, there used to be one. At the very least.
Let's look around for some kind of mechanism.
Okay. Somebody roll me an investigation check.
Here I go.
It should be Darren. Can I give advantage if I turn on my magic vision?
In this instance, no.
Okay, I'll just help them.
You can help.
Oh, it's gone.
Ooh.
I had advantage because of that, right?
Yes, you had
I
advantage
helped
Oh,
because the
thank God.
librarian was helping you.
Thank Christ, okay.
I saw with my special eyes, but I didn't see anything, so I just looked around normally.
Oh, come on!
Wow. Okay.
Jesus,
What's the
They're
bonus for that?
rolling real bad this session.
That is 15 max.
15 max. Okay.
Oh.
Um,
At least I didn't have to use that in combat.
Well, the first thing you notice when you're looking around is that through the center of this sort of lake, you can see sets of pillars that are standing in the water. You can't see anything attached to them, so it may have been that once there was a bridge, and now it's just gone. But the pillars look too uniform in the way they end. As if someone had cut the bridge off the top. They all end at exactly the same level. And that feels odd. You can't find any switches or anything around here, as far as you can tell. If there are switches, they're probably hidden within the dwarven stonework. It may be that they're going to be extremely difficult to find, if there are any.
Is the level where the support struts stops above or below the water?
It is maybe about 3 feet below the waterline.
So it's probably not just it's probably not just like an area just bounded and just filled with invisibility then. So it doesn't look like video game clipping.
No.
Can I just throw like a snowball into the general area to make sure it's not another invisible bridge?
Sure.
Worth it.
You throw a snowball. It flies out over the lake and splish drops into the water.
Yep, definitely no bridge.
As a note, with your magic vision, you can kind of see invisible things. There is no magic here. Like, you cannot sense any at all, other than like the underlying currents of magical energy that exist all throughout Rathan, or at least as far as you know, throughout Rathan.
Can I roll insight to see if I've ever felt like this absence of magic before?
Sure.
Or like Arcana or something relevant? Yeah.
Sure.
Once
Insight?
in your job interview.
You can roll me an Arcana check.
19.
19.
So bad.
Okay. So, you have sensed this kind of lack of magic. It usually happens within, like, civilizations or areas that do not rely on magical means to function. In most major cities these days, you'll walk in and there'll be torches that have been lit with magic. There'll be like bunches of different people that have magical amulets on them, or like a myriad of different magical aspects that will be laid throughout the city. This place doesn't have any of that. The underlying magical currents are there and could be used if so needed, but there is nothing here that is using them, or at least nothing within the area that you could sense to that is using any form of magic.
Okay.
There's nothing drawing on those currents.
Just making sure this isn't like a magic scarred zone that I go into and then suddenly I can't fucking cast anything.
No. No. If it was magically like absent, you wouldn't even be able to feel the ley lines of magic.
Yeah.
But you can feel those here. You can sense the weave around you. It's not like it's been ripped. It feels whole and intact. It's just unused, which is odd in and of itself, but not necessarily bad.
Do these statues have anything written on their placards?
So you look at the various statues. The first thing you notice is all the statues are facing outwards. They're looking down the river, and they do have names. And all of these statues are statues of dwarves. Various dwarven warriors, by the looks of it. These are memorials to the fallen. One says Hrothgar on it. Another has Voldimus. A third is Darethis. And the fourth one is Althar. All of these seem to have once been dwarven warriors. One of them is holding a heavy-looking axe. The second one is holding what looks to be just a chain, but it has like two massive like pendulums on each end that have spikes all across them. One of them is holding what looks to be a chair? You're not entirely certain when you look at that.
Can I inspect the chair one more closely?
Sure. Inspect away. Give me an investigation check.
25.
Okay. So the first thing you notice about this chair is that it's not made of stone. And as you look at all the other weapons, you notice that none of these weapons are made of stone. They are actual weapons. And as you look at the plaques, can you read Dwarvish? Wait, no,
Yep.
you have Eyes of the Runekeeper. Yeah.
No, I don't.
No, you don't?
Gave it up. Yeah.
Oh, okay, but you can read Dwarvish.
I do read Dwarvish, though. I know that as a language.
Okay. So you look at the base of these plaques, and you can see annotations on them that state wielder of this and this. All of these weapons belonged to these dwarves in their time. And you realize that these aren't just statues. These are the dwarves who wielded these weapons. And Darren, you would know this, because this is what happens when dwarves die. They return to the stone they were made from.
Oh, this suddenly got a lot creepier.
Is this a cemetery?
These statues are not just memorials. They are the original dwarves who were placed here in memoriam after their deaths.
Well, I don't know how to open the door, but I'm a lot more creeped out now.
Yeah, same. How do you think I feel?
And all of the weapons are very much real. All of the armor and everything that the dwarves are wearing is made of stone at this point. But the weapons that they hold are not inherently magical, but they have been preserved in this state by whatever made the dwarves as they are now. Additionally, Darren, roll me a history check very quickly.
Oh boy. +5 at least. Yay for high intelligence. Yep. Goodbye. 16.
16. The various weapons that these dwarves are holding are relatively traditional from various dwarven clans. The double-headed chain weapon is something that some dwarven monks used. The axe is a classic dwarven ideal. The Swiss Army folding chair is a much rarer item, but it is known to be used by dwarven craftsmen and engineers in centuries past. And not many of them exist nowadays, and those that do are buried with their wielders.
I really hate that I get to say this, and I'm sure it's going to give some kind of view of my people and their culture, but the chair is actually sensible. This warrior was buried with his chair, and that actually makes a degree of sense.
Wait, does that mean he was more of an engineering type?
It might. That doesn't necessarily mean we interact with his corpse and the bridge appears.
Well, I mean, like, maybe there's something in the stonework below his monument, though.
We'll have a look, but if anybody has to touch the body, it's not me. Or actually, wait, no. Come to think of it, if anybody but me touches the body, it's going to be culturally insensitive. Yeah.
You look around the base, like the pedestal that this memorial is placed upon. The first thing you notice is that the plaque, you can press it in slightly. And when you do, you hear a click and a little whir sound. And you watch on both ends as the iron gates that sit at the base of the bridge slide down into place. But nothing else happens.
Anything else like that we can find on the other statues then?
Yes, now that we know what we're looking for.
So you take a look at the statue that is holding the heavy chains. And again, you press down on the panel at the base, and nothing actually happens this time. So you take a look around, and you see on the side there's this slightly off-color stone that you push down on, and you hear another sort of ka-chunk sound. And then the sound of heavy chains underneath the dam, and you think you can hear them under the lake, start to rattle. The water begins to sort of sway and move, and then rising on the pillars that are sat in the lake, you see a heavy-looking set of stonework on each pillar, slowly rising up into place. As it rises out of the water, as it locks into place, and the remnants of what may have once been the bridge across to Farandan appear, decayed and eroding, but very much existing.
I don't know who the fuck the guard was for this fortress, but they must have had a shit job every morning.
Well, I guess that's our way in. Mind your step. We are treading on very culturally significant ground.
And also kinda broken ground.
Also that.
Probably fine, don't worry about it. Hey Prod, you don't sense any, like, evil around us, right?
Prod sort
No
of
evil in the water?
looks around, looks over, and you watch as his eyes sort of flare into this purplish sheen for a moment. Turns, looks around, and says, no evil. As something weird that way, and he points to the massive metal doors, but no evil.
What do you mean by weird?
Like glowy and red?
Infernal.
Maybe.
I think we're in the right place. Darn.
I don't know how to feel about that. But I guess I'll figure it out.
Well, let's go.
Okay. Crossing this bridge is not going to be easy. So we're gonna do that after we take a break. Yeah. Go grab water, snacks. We'll be back in 5 minutes, everybody.
Gonna get my boat of gravy and chug it.
And we're back. So. Time for a little bit of athletics. Or you guys can choose, if you can figure out another way to cross this bridge, if you wish. The challenge will be a group athletics check. You can use acrobatics if you wish. If you can figure out a way to make your crossing easier, it will reduce the DC.
Can I... How can we make this easier? Can I just roll a straight up intelligence check for that one, or do I have to think of something, because I don't see anything here?
Well, what do you usually carry in your pack?
Snacks.
What does every adventurer in D&D usually carry in their pack?
Rope.
Well, not a 5-foot pole, that's for sure.
50 feet of hempen rope. Yeah.
But that might come at that might be useful somewhere down the road.
You don't have to. You can pick it back up.
No, it's one use only.
Yeah, everyone
One
knows
use
that.
rope. You can only ever use it
Single
once.
hempen rope. You have to burn it after, otherwise the spirits get you. It's a cursed rope.
Also, hempen rope can be broken with like a DC 17 strength check. There is no guarantee it will actually survive us using it to get across there.
Why don't we just fly on the back of Kazuma one by one?
Oh yeah, that's the trick, probably. Ingvar, can we borrow your dragon?
I guess. It depends how well you can. I mean, Ingvar can handle it. It depends how well it can handle the dragon. If we've got to fly over one by one, it's not like Ingvar can just say, like, guide the. You know what I mean?
You can't just you can't just indicate a for-loop macro for Kazuma.
Why aren't you macroing your pet, Dan? This is like level 1 WoW Day stuff.
As someone who's never played WoW, I wouldn't know.
Well,
Alright, well,
yeah, Kazuma can take 2 people, right? If I
at
remember
the very
correctly.
least, Kazuma could carry one end of the rope.
That's true.
But how long is the bridge?
The bridge.
About 100 and something. Oh no, 200.
Oh.
Okay, no, that feels like it's in the air. No, it's straightforward. It's about 200 feet.
It's 210 feet long.
Okay, so we're gonna need, like, 5 times the rope we have. Does everyone have 50 feet of hempen rope, or is that
I
just...
mean, yeah, it's the adventure starting pack thing. You all get it.
Well, as a point, you don't need the rope to go across the whole bridge. You just... Like, it's got gaps in it, but you can walk most of it.
Can you not just jump the gap?
Then we will
You
try.
can just jump the gap.
We
I'm just
can,
saying.
but that's the dangerous part. If we
Yeah.
go in that water, we are toast. Or, more specifically, we are ice. And I
It's
don't know about the
probably
rest of
pretty
you,
chilly.
but I am canonically made of rock. So...
Canonically made of rock transmuted into flesh, but, you know.
yeah. Okay, well, how high did you say the DC would be if we didn't find a way to make it easier?
I didn't.
Could you give us,
Do you
like,
think
the
I'm gonna
ballpark?
tell you the DC?
High, low, medium?
How far does the jump look?
The jump is probably about 5 to 8 feet.
So quite a big jump.
A medium jump.
5 to 8 feet is like longer than you laying down.
Yeah, and I can jump 6 feet, so, you know.
Vertically?
No, horizontally.
6 foot vertical leap, baby.
Yes, I can do a 6 foot vertical leap as long as I have a trampoline.
Let me see, what are the rules on jumping?
Okay, how long is Kazuma?
Okay, when you make a long jump, you cover a number of feet up to your strength score if you move at least 10 feet on foot immediately before the jump.
Well, I'm not using my dragon to bridge a gap and walk over him.
I mean, you won't fly us.
So
I never said I wouldn't fly you. I just asked how well you could handle him.
My
Oh, he's probably fine.
strength score is 11, so I should, with a running jump, be able to cover 11 feet.
Mine's not going to be that good.
Then what is yours?
7.
I mean, that could be good enough.
10 foot gap, according to the tools.
Well, no, it's a
Like a
It's a-
6.5.
it's 6.5 between 5 and 8, as I said. Like it depends where the edges meet, essentially. Some gaps are easier, some are harder.
This is when I really wish I'd taken the fabricate spell at some point.
So you just produce a ladder that we could lay across?
I mean, I could just repair the bridge over a long enough period of time.
I don't think we have quite that much time.
It's fine, I'm
I
restoring
don't think
the
we're- I don't
heritage
think-
site, don't worry about it.
We're on an explicit clock here, but I imagine there's a limit.
I mean, it
Okay.
is slowly getting darker and colder.
True that, right.
It's like mid-afternoon at the moment, so you have time.
Okay, I'm gonna, like, hop my way across with a long jump. Here.
Okay.
Alright. Somebody toss me, like, one end of a rope.
I toss you one end of a rope. The rest of the rope is safely with me, don't worry about it.
Okay. I'm gonna hold on to the end of the rope as tightly as I can.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, secure it onto, like, the wall behind you, ideally not one of the dead bodies.
I mean, they are the biggest anchor points around here, so...
They're like the statues are like
I put them on the gates. I tie onto the gate.
okay.
Right. Now, whoever can't just jump that distance, make your way across it with using the rope as an aid.
Okay, I do that.
Okay. So you guys slowly start to traverse your way across the major bridge section. Whee!
Hi, Kazma.
I was trying to pick them both up.
I mean, you can at least fly
Kazma
over,
easily
right?
leaping from stone to stone, following you all. Okay, this next part might be a little more difficult for you, Darren.
Mm-hmm.
Realistically, it's about 11 feet away.
That is the exact distance that I can jump.
I think Ingvar has a higher strength score.
Oh, yeah.
Ingvar or
Well, Prod
Prod is probably the best bet. I think Ingvar actually beats Prod in strength for some reason, if I remember correctly.
I thought they were both the
It's
same.
probably because Prod's
Oh, wait, no, you
too
are
as
the
well.
same. No, but they got a +1 amulet that gives them plus extra strength, I think, or something like that.
No, Prod has a +1 to something else.
Oh, AC, that was it, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, I could try and
So-
jump the gap.
Big gap.
So, what's your strength score?
18.
Yeah, you can
18
jump
feet split.
18 feet as long as you get a 10-foot run up, and you have the space for that.
I'm gonna do that then.
Okay. So you take a run up, and you leap, and you long jump across the gap, trailing and
Where the
vanish into the ether. Apparently.
I didn't do a thing!
Those fucking portal goblins are at it again.
Hold on, let me bring. Let me. Let
Gave
me
Mipsy
summon.
the portal staff.
Let me summon Ingvar back. There we go.
What the
Same deal, I guess, as before.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, tying one end of a rope to the palisades or whatever you want to call
Yep.
these things on the sides, and then somebody holding it on the other end.
Yep. Since this gap is a lot larger, I will need you and the librarian. Anyone who essentially can't make that long jump will need to make an athletics check as they cross.
Yippee. Do I get any benefit from it, or...?
Because you're holding onto the rope, yes.
So I get advantage? Or...
You get advantage.
Oh, thank God. Okay. Hip. Nat 20.
Nat 20, not bad. You make a show of it by quite literally tightrope walking across the rope. Librarian, your turn.
Okay. I go across the rope.
Yeah, roll me an athletics check.
Yeah, that's
I don't
why
know
I
what you're
just did
talking
that.
about. Don't worry about it.
Roll me an athletics check, you bastard! You will not cheat me out of watching at least one of you fall into this lake at some point.
Can it be acrobatics instead?
It can be acrobatics if you like, yes.
I mean, strictly speaking, what I just did was acrobatics more than athletics, but...
Oh no. Natural
Is that
one.
worse?
Oh,
With
Oh.
advantage. With advantage.
again.
10.
10. Okay. You wobble your way across the gap, almost slipping on a loose plank at one point before you are securely on the stone section of the next part of the bridge. Okay. This next section you guys managed to cross without too much incident. The gap is only 5 feet wide at its narrowest point. So you all managed to cross that without issue. The gap here is 10 feet wide, so you will have to take... you will essentially repeat the... Let's just say you guys repeat the exercise a few times over until eventually you come to the entry door to the city of Tharandam.
My god.
I won't put-
absolutely failed one of those checks.
I won't put you through all the checks.
Was
The
that
entry
about
door
wanting to see one of us fall in?
But still a gap here.
could still happen. The entry door, from what you can see, is massive, metallic, and very likely locked. But it doesn't look unopened. Where there might once have been heavy rust on the hinges, it has been cleaned, not necessarily oiled, but cleaned enough that it could be opened. There is evidence that it has been opened within the last month or so, essentially.
Is there anything that sticks out to me as like the open button, or is this just a matter of like push? Having an inwards opening gate feels like the bad idea for a stronghold, though.
Is there like an equivalent of open sesame in Dwarvish?
Open
Something you would say
Witherspoons?
coming home? Open Witherspoons in Dwarvish. That's the most northern thing you could probably ever say.
We're not gonna ask for sesame. We're gonna ask for curry from Witherspoons.
A boat of peas, thank you very much, and my
Sorry,
7
you're
meter
gonna-
bombs.
You're gonna ask for curry from Witherspoons?
Yeah, that's their whole thing. Every Thursday night, they are the biggest curry house in England.
Oh my god.
Because it's curry night on Thursdays.
Okay, we don't have time to unpack that in one D&D session.
It sustained me through university, for God's sake.
Fair enough, but still, curry from
So did
Witherspoon.
Soylent Green, an entire civilization in a fictional book. That doesn't mean it was a good idea.
I didn't say it was high cuisine, it was just affordable and not
Yeah,
terrible.
that's fair. That's fair.
Anyway,
Well,
the fish and chips
anyway.
are better. Yeah, can we open this door or try something
Okay.
like...
Can Ingvar kick it down? Just boom.
You
I
can
don't think it's
definitely
very
try.
strong. This is a solid metal fucking door.
I've got a solid metal fucking leg.
I mean,
So we might
you
want to
you
sneak
can
up on whatever
certainly try,
infernal
but the
creatures
door
in
is
here.
20. The door is 30 feet tall.
It opens sideways.
You don't know that it opens sideways.
Can
Yeah.
I taste the door open?
Can you tase the?
Can we just try
You know
pushing
what?
it first?
I highly doubt that this opens inwards. Pushing it isn't going to help us.
Can we just try
Oh.
first before using explosives? I feel like we should exhaust the normal options before going high fantasy on this door.
Explodes.
Okay, right, we'll try pushing it first. Might as well get the obvious ideas out the way.
Okay. Who wants to roll me a strength check? I suppose.
Crowd.
I think it would be
Prod or
Ingvar.
Ingvar?
Ingvar seemed very happy about trying to push the door down.
Yeah.
Okay. Ingvar,
What?
roll.
But
Roll me a
if Prod,
strength-
helps.
Do your
Yeah,
Aragorn
yeah.
impression.
Yeah,
That'll
Yeah.
give us advantage.
The two strong men. Okay, roll me a strength check with advantage because Prod is helping. Ten
10 plus 4.
plus 4, so 14. This door is heavy, not necessarily rusted, old, and as far as you can tell, you push up against it and it doesn't really move, and you look through this like really thin gap that's like the light is shining in through behind you, and you notice that at intervals up the sort of the thin seam of the door, you can see big black shadows across the middle of the door. What look to be some form of bolt that is keeping it shut.
Guys,
It will probably require heavy strength to open, but at the moment it is locked.
Guys, it's not budging, but I can just, there's a tiny gap there, and I think it's locked from the inside.
As you
Yes.
guys have been investigating this as well, I'll give you this for free. You do notice that there is what looks to be some sort of lock on one of the walls. Not a lock in the traditional sense. There doesn't seem to be any sort of key that would fit it. It's more like a little round receptacle that you can put something in, with two little pins that stick out of the wall, metal pins.
Brian, no, don't stick your
can I
toe in there.
make an intelligence check to figure out if I know that this is probably like a kind of electrically powered lock?
Sure, roll me an intelligence check.
22.
Okay. You put your hand over this lock. You touch your fingers to the pins. You touch one of them just with one hand and nothing happens. You touch the other one. You put two fingers on both the pins. Circuit completes and you do get zapped. You feel like an electrical shock run up your arm as that happens.
I mean, that's Not what I was really intending with checking if it was a thing. I just want to know if I knew that. Anyway, I want to
Yeah,
put something metal to
it's
complete the circuit.
electrical. Okay. You put something small and metallic between the circuit. Nothing happens. This seems to contain residual electric charge, but it is not. It is not a circuit completion situation. It is.
Okay. I channel the electrical energy from like my Eldritch Blast into the circuit to power it.
Is your Eldritch Blast electrical?
It's always been described as kind of like crackling blue energy. I presumed it was electricity.
But
I could
it
also try
is
something else though.
force damage, is it not?
Yeah.
So it would not be electrical.
Wait,
Try
have
call lightning, but I feel like that's a bit overkill for a door.
I still got... Where the hell is my inventory?
Oh wait, actually, I can do this. This is a really big waste, but I can do it. I have a chain lightning spell scroll.
I was just gonna stick in the lightning arrow in there, but you know.
Oh wait, no, that's cool. Yeah, that's way better use of an arrow, probably.
I mean,
Unless
you
anyone knows
also
Shocking
have.
Grasp.
You did say it earlier, Lydia. You do also have a taser.
The taser foot.
A
Yeah,
taser.
if I stick back my taser toe in there, it's never gonna come back out and the door's gonna shut.
You just have to like shoot it off, you know?
It's
I mean,
not...
Like two
So-
little electrodes.
admittedly, the way I always imagined the taser working was like a small panel in the side of the leg that pops out to have a taser, but it can work however you want it to work.
Well, I can stick the arrow in. If the arrow doesn't work, then I'll stick my foot in.
Okay. All right. I guess roll me lightning damage because you don't need to fire it, so you know.
That's a three.
Okay. You essentially jam the arrow into this lock section, and you let the arrow touch both of these connectors. The arrow kind of disintegrates in your palm as lightning drives itself through the shaft and into these pins. You hear a chunk, followed by a massive as the first, second, and third heavy bolts that sit behind this door are slid back. It seems to be unlocked.
Yay! Now can I push it open?
Roll me a strength check with advantage.
Jesus. 16.
16. With a little bit of difficulty, because this door is heavy. You and Prod take one side each and slowly start to push it open. Without too much issue. The sort of bottom two sections of the door swing open, and you can see into a long, dark hall. That as the door opens, some heavy-looking braziers and torches that are set on pillars flicker to life.
Nice.
Nice work.
Yeah, you know, gotta put these muscles to some strength. Use them.
Oh, there are bones in here. What do my dwarven eyes see?
Well, the first
As I
thing
pass into the entryway.
that your dwarven eyes see is there are a few bones around. The floor of this sort of entry hall has a pair of massive grooves which are inlaid with metal. There are cobwebs, there is dust, there are a lot of essentially like there's a lot of old stonework. The bones you see you can immediately identify as not dwarvish, because they are not made of stone. They are of some form of humanoid creature, though you can't really discern what. You look around, and this seems to have been, once upon a time, the entry hall for essentially the first entry hall for the stronghold, and it is designed to be defended. You look up and you can see this massive ringed balcony where archers could stand, that sits above everything. You look around and there's these heavy pillars that could hide any number of troops. This place would have probably held maybe a garrison of around 2,000 to 3,000 dwarves. And as you look further into this stronghold, you see at the other end of this hall there is another of these vast metal doors. You look around and you do notice various places where the dust has been disturbed, where that heavy coating is nowhere near as dense, where someone has sort of brushed away at something because they were interested, or so on and so forth. Signs that Olger has been here.
Okay, whereabouts does it seem like Olger was? Just by the door, or?
Mostly, like, you see older signs of where Olger first sort of came into this structure, but they are very old signs, essentially. It's like looking at, like, someone who cleared dust away several months ago, and now it's slowly creeping back in. In sort of further in to the structure, you do notice that the door up ahead has actively been, like, cleaned of all dust, probably from it being opened and closed multiple times.
Onwards and downwards, probably.
Okay. You have the alert feat, right, Darren?
Yep, I do, which means I cannot be surprised, which is why I'm in
Yep.
front.
Yeah. So as you start walking down the hall, the first thing you notice is that while there are cobwebs, there are no spiders. Not a single one. The cobwebs, in fact, look ancient. They don't look particularly new. And as you watch, you notice that some of the shadows seem to be off.
Off? How?
where the torches flicker, there are sections of the floor that should definitely be illuminated, but are just kind of darker than they should be.
Gonna take a few steps back. Do I notice anything? Also, that made a noise that made me certain I'd just been blow darted.
Sorry.
Do the shadows react to my retreat?
Not in any meaningful way, but they seem to be you watch as one of them kind of drifts slightly to the right and tries to blend in with the actual shadow of the pillar.
Everybody, I think we have some kind of monster here.
No.
Would anyone care to perhaps throw some light on the situation?
Yeah, anyone can do that.
I got nothing. Anybody have any kind of light spell? I expect we're about to need it.
I'm a utility warlock, but that is one utility I'm sorely lacking.
Can you see any magic at least?
Oh yeah, like if there's any magic around, I'll be able to see it. If there's any like shapes hiding with invisibility or illusion magic.
I mean, I could set my feet on fire, but I don't know how much help that will be.
We also all have like torches and lanterns. I'm fairly certain in the adventurers pack that should help a little bit.
We do, but something tells me that's going to be insufficient, or else the torches would already be lighting these things up.
Let me see what I have to use. I could technically use minor illusion, I think. I don't know if it counts as a light emitting source. Yeah, it can't create light, unfortunately. But magical tinkering, on the other hand, can. Is there a rock near me?
You are surrounded by rocks.
Is there a rock that I could hold near me?
There's a few pieces of rubble, yeah.
Cool. I pick up a little handheld rock and I use magical tinkering on it to make it emit a bright light.
Okay. You make it emit this sort of bright, white light, in sort of a... Does it say how far the light, goes?
5 feet, I think.
5 feet. So, it's a 5-foot radius around you specifically, but it is this very bright, intense white light. A little bit like you're holding, like a ball of LEDs, basically. And you sort of wave it around a little bit, and you notice to your left where this sort of patch of ground is just black, and you wave it across there, and it sort of scoots backwards out of range of this bright light.
Oh yeah, there's definitely some fucked up shit going on here. So it looks like they don't really like the light, so everyone keep your torches out, I guess.
I mean, Olgar made it through here, presumably quite a few times, so... I guess it's just our unlucky day.
Okay. So, you guys press forward, huddling around the librarian's beacon, as it were, of light. Let me grab the rest of your party. There we go. There we go. Visera and Prod kind of stay as close to you as possible. You get to the other end of the hallway, and the first thing you notice, Darren, is that right in front of this massive door, there is just a patch of darkness.
Gonna move up and just kind of wave my torch in its general direction. Shoot, hit.
It starts backing up the door, essentially.
No, not like that.
The other kind of get, please.
How close are you getting to this thing?
15 feet.
Yeah, it's not leaving the door, essentially. It starts backing up the door, out of the range of your torch, but staying very much on the door.
These shadows are weird. Ingvar, could you get started on this door? See if it opens the same way as the last one.
Yes, sir.
You look around and you do see what looks to be a small socket on one side of the door. As you get close, though, you watch as you look up as you're getting closer to this door, and you watch as this shadow, sort of a body, starts to crawl out of it, essentially. Like this thin, emaciated figure that just sort of pushes itself up out of the door, essentially, and sort of reaches for you with a as it reaches for you, and you back away, and the shadow, the figure sinks back into this shadow. Around you, you notice that, as well as behind you, you notice small patches of shadow have started moving in closer and closer to you all.
So these are some kind of ghosts, I guess.
Shadow ghosts? The ghosts of people's shadows? I don't know.
They might just be shades or anything. They don't seem outwardly hostile, just
Oh, you say that, but
weirdly protective. They're surrounding us, but they aren't initially going for any attacks. Otherwise, they would have done that when we got in. Surely.
The emaciated figure that came out of the shadow, did it look like a human or something else?
think I still grown long enough to look at it.
Like the
It looked-
shape, silhouette-wise.
It looked humanoid.
Didn't seem like a dwarf at all?
No.
Okay, so it's probably not like Ghosts of the Ancestors or some such where I might get a free pass to open the door. Guys, I think we might have to fight these things.
I mean,
Nope.
let's not destroy all of our options straight away, right? You know,
Can you name any others?
we have a paladin.
Prod
Maybe
sort
they
of,
have something like, turn undead.
Prod looks over at you as I check Prod's spell list.
Abilities, surely.
I think turn undead is normally in channel divinity ones, but I can't remember if paladins have it or if it's just clerics.
I'm very quickly checking. Okay. No. Prod sort of turns to you and goes, I don't, I can kill it with my sword, but, I don't, spells, not really my thing.
Great. So the closest thing we have to a man of God can't actually do anything to undead.
Well,
This is why we need a healer.
Look, my god is the god of theater. What do you expect the god of theater to do against dead people? You know?
Same thing most gods do, generally.
Okay, let's try this then. I cast Fairy Fire.
Okay. Where are you casting it?
Specifically so that it encompasses a 20-foot block around the door and the creature on top of it.
Okay. 20-foot block around the door and the creature on top of it. God, I'm not opted into the AoE stuff. I'll just do a sphere. So that would be.
It's the layout is the right angle that I've just done, I think.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Yes. Okay, so you cast Fairy Fire, and the first thing you notice is that okay, I'll make these visible for you very quickly. You see one figure outlined here, and then two more just on the edge of the cube, just outside the edge of the light, essentially.
Okay, and they're glowing in violet light for us to see.
Mm-hmm. What you essentially see outlined is all you see at the moment is like you see patches of shadow that are kind of undulating slightly, like moving liquid or like jello, essentially, that's sort of just sitting on the floor that's been outlined by purple light.
Yep. They don't like shy away from the fact that they're now illuminated or anything?
Fairy Fire doesn't really illuminate, it just outlines. They don't seem to be fussed by it, but they also don't seem to have enough sentience to realize that they can be seen now.
Okay. I guess wail away. That was my last option.
Oh.
And we all have advantage on them now.
Here we
On
go,
three of
killing
them,
again.
anyway.
On three of them. On the three in the Fairy Fire, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Rolling initiative with surprise attack, I guess, since they don't know we're hostile yet. I guess not, actually, since surprise attack actually means they're unaware completely. So just initiative.
Yeah. I will have you all roll initiative, if you don't mind. Give me a second to get these things named so that I can track which one I'm on turn-wise.
You...
Okay. So, 25 to 20.
21.
20? Wow. Doing good today, librarian, apparently.
Well, not start.
Well,
Yeah.
Don't think anyone was rolling good at the start for some reason.
today is a rising curve, essentially.
This is why I don't trust quantum dice.
Doot, 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 doot. Oh, have I missed? I've missed Ingvar. Where's Ingvar?
It
There's
merged
Ingvar.
somewhat with Casimir.
Yes. Doot, doot. Okay, so. Librarian going first. 20 to 15. 15 to 10?
Me, 13.
Okay.
Uncharacteristically low for me.
Prod. 10 to 5.
8.
8. And uncharacteristically low for Visera as well. Okay. So, Librarian, you're up first.
Eldritch Blast, womp womp.
Eldritch Blast, womp womp. Roll me an attack on whichever shadow you want to target first.
Okay, so I've rolled my 2 blasts. One's 25, the other one is 22. I'm going to go from left to right, so the one on the left and the center one.
Center one, did you say?
The one on the left and the center one,
Oh, one on the left and the center.
because I have 2
Okay.
blasts.
All right. Roll me attack. Did you roll me attack? You
Yep,
already
I
done
rolled
that?
2 attacks. That's
Okay.
25 and 24, respectively.
Both of those hit.
Cool. I roll damage. Okay, yeah, so that is 12 and 15. So the left one gets 12, the center one gets 15.
Okay. You throw this blast of force towards this creature, and okay, yeah. You do 12 points of damage as this large sort of as this bolt of blue energy, which is not electrical, lands in sort of this puddle of shadow, and you watch as it sort of where the force impacts, it kind of and then sort of slides in, and you watch as this figure suddenly starts clawing its way out of this puddle, a little bit angered. The second one was 15, right?
15, yeah.
Yeah, 15. Again, as these figures see that they're now being attacked, they're going to start clawing their way out of the inky blackness that is the shadow below them. You see both of them sort of push themselves out of the ground, and you can see them sort of clawing their way towards you. This horrible sort of rattling sound, this rattling, moaning sound coming from their throats. Bonus actions?
Nope.
Okay. Next up, shadow number 3, who is going to immediately go for you, Darren, since you are closest. It braves the light and steps towards you and is going to attempt to attack you. So, a dice. That is that is an 8 to hit. So it does not, I can imagine.
No, not even on
but
me.
You step back slightly as it tries to claw its way through the light at you, and from what you can tell, it's basically almost blinded by the light, after having lived in the dark for so long. But it tries to claw its way towards you, and you can see, while it does have a humanoid form, its fingers are like incredibly elongated into basically talons. Its face is partially humanoid but hollowed out, as if someone had vacuum sealed someone's face. It's particularly unpleasant. Next up, shadow number 4, who is going to lunge out of the shadows at you, librarian, as it comes from behind. And it is going to attempt the same thing as it did to Darren. That is a 15 to hit.
I think that hits. Yeah, my AC is 12.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so here's what happens. The shadow does 12 points of damage to you. And additionally, you have your strength score reduced by 3 temporarily.
Okay.
Temporarily, unless it hits 0.
We'll make a note of my actual one and change it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Darren, you're up.
Right, I guess I'm pulling out my magic dagger, and I'm trying to stab the thing that's right next to me. And if I can, I'm just gonna try and, like, wave the torch relatively near it while I do so.
Alright.
Back! Shoo!
Roll me an attack.
It's a 7. Okay, now. Hip. 12.
12 will hit, actually.
Ah.
Roll me damage.
The pause suggests to me that that's a meets it beats it situation.
That is a meets it beats it situation.
Okay.
12 is the threshold.
Alright. Do I get my lovely sneak attack?
No, it's right in front of you, Darren.
Yeah, I figured that might be the case. Okay. In that case, I will bonus action hex it and get at least some extra damage. So that is 1d6 plus my 2 for my dagger, plus an extra 1d6 to chronic.
Okay.
Yep. That is 7 total.
7 total. How much of that is necrotic damage?
I think that was... I didn't... I wish you'd asked me that before the dice floating away, like, vanished.
Apologies.
Right.
One of the dice was a 1 and one was a 4.
Okay. I feel like I'm going to hate saying this, but I think the 4 was the second dice, which would be the necrotic.
Yeah. This thing, you stab into this thing, and it takes damage, but the necrotic kind of just gets absorbed by it.
Oh.
So it only takes 3 points of damage.
Ah. Well, I can at least give it disadvantage on dexterity checks for the moment.
It looks pretty weak, though. It looks starved, essentially. But it seems to want to drain you.
Goody!
Okay.
Right, what have
bonus
I got?
action?
What have I got? Bonus action disengage.
Bonus action disengage. Where are you stepping back to?
everybody else.
Okay, so you step back 10 feet?
Yep, I'll do.
You step back into the light as this creature sort of tries to claw at you, but cannot land purchase. Prod is going to attempt to finish off this creature. So they're going to roll an attack. Wow, okay. Hold on.
Elsie, if you can hear us, this is what happens.
This is what happens
when you don't show up to sessions.
This is what happens when you don't tell me that you're not going to be able to make a session a week in advance. Okay. Longsword is a +8 to attack. So that's 3 + 8 is 11, so that does not hit. But Elfie can do 2 attacks in a row, so let's do 2 attacks in a row. Ooh, natural 20. Okay.
That's more like it.
Damage. Give me damage. Okay.
Why the fuck is this thing doing radiant damage?
What? No, that's Elfie's damage.
Oh, okay. So confused for a second.
Okay, so 7 slashing, 9 radiant. Which doesn't really matter because it was on 1 HP anyway. So it vanishes into smoke and cinder, or smoke and shadow, as Prod's sword cleaves through it. Next up, shadow number 2, who is going to go for the nearest source of heat, and that is Prod.
Yeah, look for that one.
Okay. With a 2 to hit, does not land. It claws uselessly at the thick plate mail that protects Prod. Ingvar, you're up.
Nice. He's a bit too close to Shadow, the one behind the library, so... And the one next to Prod is in his line of sight, sadly. I don't think... So I think he's probably going to go for the one on the right.
Okay.
But he's going to use Hunter's Mark on first. Hybrid. Working today. I've got... And sadly I am out of fire arrows, but I can use... lightning arrows.
Okay.
Where the hell is my inventory? So... And he's obviously going to be using double and bow.
Obviously.
Okay. I'm going to roll for the first roll. I believe I worked it out was plus 10 with all the extra bits and bobs.
Yes.
So that was...
The only way you would not be able to hit this is if you rolled a 1.
Yeah,
It's
but
conceivable. It's conceivable.
Don't jinx it. That's 23. First. So that hit. Then we get a... Whoop. Better this camera. Still gonna hit because that's 13. What?
13, did you say?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. That will hit.
The double and bow for the first arrow was 1 plus 2, 1, 8. Put the 8 for the other. Hey! Math!
Yay!
7!
So did you say you were using fire arrows?
Lightning.
Lightning.
Yeah, I'm out of fire.
Okay. Okay, very quickly. Okay. So the lightning is the D8s, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So it doesn't seem to take as much damage from lightning as you expected.
Balls.
So that is 6 points of damage, I believe.
Yeah.
Yep. Good. And do you have a second attack?
I do.
Hmm.
Noticing that the lightning... I don't know what poison's gonna do. Because my arrows in the leg would have regenerated. Oh, what the hell. We'll give the poison a go.
Is it worth pointing out that we've already reasonably concluded that they're undead?
Yeah, they certainly look undead.
Yeah, then like
Poison.
they didn't like even notice my necrotic damage. They are probably going to be immune to poison as well.
Fair enough. Yeah, forget the poison, then we'll go back later. So, let's start.
It's a nice parallelogram you've drawn there, Lucian.
I've turned it into an AoE marker.
They both hit. So now, wait, as long as I can get above. Oh, yeah, do 13.
13?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's
Minus
12.
whatever. Yeah.
So 6. So that is 7 points of damage.
E.
As the lightning is halved by this creature. Okay.
That's it for me.
Anything else?
No, because bonus action was Hunter's Mark.
Kazma's turn.
Brian, can you kick in, please? Kazma. Bites and melee it. Breath attack is again lightning. That really helps. I'm guessing he's gonna try and nibble, like bite at the one that Ingvar went for.
Sure.
Oh, he's done. For that. I need a roll. Money. Plus strength? Or deck?
Plus strength.
That's a plus
Bite.
3, so that's 4.
14 will hit.
One d6. Wow.
Oof.
Plus proficiency 4, which is plus 3, so that's 4.
4 points of damage. Kazma sort of snaps down its jaws around the neck of this frail-looking shadow, and it just snaps his head off completely. The shadow vanishes down into the dust.
I reckon it's way too happy about this.
That shadow would have been next, but you killed it. So Visera is gonna turn around and that's you, Ingvar. Visera is gonna go around you, Ingvar, and try to pummel the shadow that is trying to grasp at the librarian. Okay. And they are going to use their fists. Pummel! Let me open up their character feed very quickly. Give me Monk Unarmed Strike. 6 bludgeoning. Roll20, stop making me move the... There we go. Okay. 7 plus 11. Oh no, is that... I fucking hate Roll20's system.
Wasn't using it your idea?
No, we're just using Roll20 because we have no other alternative, realistically speaking. Okay. So Visera is going to do 6 points of damage to this shadow, because bludgeoning is also halved. And next up, it's shadow number 5's turn. Who is, again, going to go for one of the nearest sources of available body heat. And is going to go for you, Ingvar. And is going to roll a natural 1. God, these things are so awful.
Considering that they could kill us with like 11 damage, I'm okay with this.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. Librarian, you're up.
Eldritch Blast.
Eldritch Blast. Who are you Eldritch Blasting? Which ones? You have
The
3
one in
left
front
on
of me
the
and the
board.
one beside of me.
Okay. Roll me an attack.
Uh, 13 and an 18. I think those both hit, right?
Okay. Yes, they both hit.
Okay, damage time.
Damage time.
The one in front of me gets 7 damage, the one to the right of me gets 11 damage.
Okay. 7 points of force damage. And 11 points of force damage. You're lucky. Force is the one thing these things aren't resistant to.
Yeah, it's very unlikely things are resistance to force. It's like the one thing that things normally get murdered by.
Bonus action?
Hello.
I cast Sanctuary.
Cast Sanctuary? Alright.
Yep.
Shadow number 3 is dead. Shadow number 4 is... Okay, yeah, no, shadow number 3 is dead. Shadow number 4 is the one that is going to claw at you... no, claw at Visera this time, because Visera got closer, like, right in their face. With an 18 to hit. And Visera's armor class is 16, so that will hit. D6 plus 2. 11 points of damage to Visera. Okay. And 1d4. A 4-point reduction in strength. I'll bear that in mind. Temporarily. Okay, Darren, you're up.
Okay, well, I guess I better stab that thing then. Alright. Rod's probably got the one, like, in front of him handled, right?
Maybe.
Yeah, well...
He's the only one that's got advantage on his enemy, that's for sure.
Okay. Yep. And stabby.
Okay, stabby.
With advantage?
With advantage. You are flanking.
Good. Hmm.
6 plus what?
6 plus 7.
That'll hit.
13. Just.
That'll barely hit, but it'll hit.
Oh. Okay, that is 1d6 plus 2 for the actual weapon, and then another 5d6 for the sneak attack, so that is 66 plus 2.
Okay.
Assuming that these things are vulnerable to sneak attack, because Undead and 3.5 weren't.
Let me double check. Yeah, they're vulnerable to sneak attack.
Yippee!
Oh god.
Eat it! That is 17 points of damage.
Which one of these is necrotic?
None of them.
Oh.
That's the wrong one.
Okay.
The one that's in front of prod has the hex on.
Okay. 17 points of damage. You stab down into the back of this creature and you watch as it dissolves into smoke and dust. And the black ooze-like stuff on the floor slowly sort of evaporates into smoke.
Okay.
Okay. Prod's up. Prod's gonna slash. Prod does not do very well with the slash.
Prod's just having a day.
Prod's having a day, yeah.
We all are, kinda.
Yeah, that is a +8, so that's a 10. That does not hit. But Prod has a second attack. That will hit. Okay. That was the wrong thing. This one. There we go. 7 radiant, 10 slashing, 8. So 10 slashing and 7 radiant. Which immediately destroys this one as well. I just realized I haven't been rolling with advantage prod. That's fine. Ingvar, you're up.
No, I
Give
think
me
we
my
killed
spell
it.
slot back.
With the one that in front of Prod's dead, I will move my hex to the one that's in front of Ingvar.
Okay, Ingvar,
I can't
you're up.
remember which one it is.
I'm up.
You're up.
I am going to recast Hunter's Mark, and I'm pretty sure the one that had Hunter's Mark on is keeled over at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm too close to move without being attacked. So, I'm going to pull out a certain Cerberus flail.
Okay.
Try to smack it over the head.
Roll me an attack.
That's a dragon, but never mind, that's 12 and whatever.
That'll hit.
Plus, yeah, I'm gonna say I can't remember what plus bits one.
If you've rolled a 12, it'll hit. It's fine.
So that's 1d10 plus 100's mark. That d6 has gone. Give it a second. 13 plus 3. So that's
13
6.
plus 3. Remind me, is the Cerberus Flail a magical weapon?
It just says plus. It just says melee slashing.
Okay, so probably not magical.
Is it a +1 weapon?
No.
No.
In that case, yeah, that'll do half damage. So that'll do 7 points of damage.
That'll be it, because it's half of 16.
Oh, sorry, I was looking at the dice number.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
There we go. Okay. Do you have a second attack with that, or?
Yeah, it's with any
Yep.
weapon. It's extra attack for ranger.
Okay.
Yeetus!
Yeetus!
Why is everyone in this chasm? I'm not even gonna ask. Oh god, that's 3. Oh, is it strength? Is it dex? Is it what? I forgot. God.
It's strength.
It's not gonna hit because it's only +4 for strength.
Yep. Sadly not. Your last hit goes wide as the shadow backs off as the flail passes through it. Next up, Kazma.
Who is going to absolutely turn around on his ankles and go nom.
Go nom.
Right, get him a knife. Fuck him. Whoop. Hell hit.
That'll definitely
That'll
hit.
do. Yep.
Oh, I want to roll the dice, not draw on the floor. That's 7.
7 points of damage. What's your play? Or what's Kazuma's play?
He got crunch. He just crunches the thing to absolute hell.
Okay.
It's gonna ruin his time.
As this last shadow reaches for you, Kazuma bounds over and just kind of munches the entire head of this creature and just kind of rips it off and ragdolls it around. You watch as the body kind of flails for a moment before falling back and disappearing into smoke. All shadows defeated. The tomb-like atmosphere of this place is silent once more.
I guess I didn't feed him enough last night. Jesus. Hungry dragon.
Okay.
And since the shadows are now gone, can I try and open the door again without having the shit scared out of me?
Are they gone because they're still in the initiative order?
Sorry. There we go.
There we go.
No, I didn't remove them from the initiative order as I was taking them off the board. It's fine.
Well,
Yeah. You take a look at the mechanism, and it's very similar to what you saw earlier outside. What would you like to do? Would you like to use another arrow? Would you like to use the taser?
We'll give the arrow
there's
a
like a
shot.
fucking battery kicking about.
You
In
haven't
this place?
investigated, but there are
We loot
various
the shadows.
The shadows
Disintegrated.
disintegrated. They're not really lootable at this point.
Unfortunate.
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll just arrow the door.
Just arrow the door. Alright. How many lightning arrows do you have left?
1, 2. Oh, I have 2 left.
2 left. So so you'll have 1 left after this. Roll me damage.
No, don't draw on the floor! Did I even throw the dice? I don't even know what happened there. Yep,
Yes.
there we go.
Okay. You push this arrow into the slot. So you watch as the tip connects the 2 pins. Lightning travels down the shaft, and the arrow disintegrates in your palm. You hear as 2 of the 3 bolts pull back in the door.
Crap. Well, he ain't using another arrow. He's only got 1 left.
Yeah, I feel like there's gonna be yet another door later down the line. Can we investigate the room for anything?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna help Darren since they have a higher investigation.
Roll it.
Mike?
Yes? Huh? Sorry, I
Could you
completely
roll
zoned out
investigation
for
for us, sorry?
Sorry, yeah, I zoned out entirely for a hot second.
No worries.
It happens.
You have advantage.
Oh, thank God. Oh, did that help me the last time I had to do this? 16.
16.
I feel like this is exactly what happened last time.
Yeah.
Okay, so you look around. There are, like, piles of broken boxes, a few old iron chests that seem empty. Most of the stuff here is abandoned. Not necessarily looted. It doesn't seem like there's been many looters in this place. And those that did manage to get in were very much dead. You do find what looks to be the remnants of a sort of electrical sort of key, as it were. It's a small half-orb-like shape with a sort of with 2 holes for where the pins would be and a handle on the back. You look at it and there's a massive crack running down one edge of it, and you pick it up and there's like, essentially it's like what an old battery would look like. That's like on the that has corroded essentially, and there's like a crack where acid might have seeped out of it at one point, and it doesn't look usable essentially. But you now know what these things look like.
Can I try and cast mending on the battery that we have?
Sure.
Wait, Darren, don't you know acid splash?
I do.
You
Why?
assist me by putting acid back into the battery with mending.
Oh.
We're doing alchemy here, don't worry about it.
I want to put the battery down first.
Oh yeah, I'm casting from a little bit of a distance.
Good.
Okay. I guess like I tried to do back to the book way back when. I'll just like acid splash the just ton of acid. I don't know what we're doing here.
Yes.
So you
check.
let a small amount of acid seep through the cracks in this key-like object. And then you, librarian, cast mending, and you watch as sort of the lead plates inside reform and seal themselves back into place. The sort of burnished copper casing glows again with this sort of warm, sort of metallic visual as the cracks on the edge seal themselves back into place. You pick this up, and it doesn't thrum with any energy at all, but it is complete and could probably hold a charge.
Okay. Remind me what breath weapons people have again?
Huh?
Kazuma has a breath weapon, right? I can't remember if it's electricity or not.
Yeah, it's lightning based.
Yeah, what if we use Kazuma's breath weapon to charge it up?
It work.
Okay.
It's electricity, it's a battery. I feel like they're compatible on a surface level at least.
How are you doing this?
I put it on the floor and take a step away so I don't get electrocuted, I guess.
Okay.
Then I asked them very nicely, please don't do it too hard.
I guess roll me a breath attack. Not like just roll me damage, because it's not like the battery can dodge.
What is the battery's AC?
What is the battery's AC? I don't know. 10?
Oh, that's 6.
6. Okay. You lay the battery down on the floor and take a few steps back. Kazuma sort of crouches and lets out this lightning breath that arcs across the floor and connects with the 2 sort of slots in this key. You watch for a moment as the battery kind of glows with this electrical light, and then everything is silent. You go to pick it up, and you can feel the energy humming inside of it. This battery, or this key, now has 6 points of charge. It can hold up to 9.
Oh, nice. Dragon power.
Why exactly did you have me pour acid into that thing? That's generally what you do to break things.
Oh, it's part of a contraption. It uses the acid as an electrolyte to hold electrical charge. We use them in kind of magical devices sometimes.
What is an electrolyte?
It's what plants crave.
Is that actually what the librarian says?
No.
Is it what the librarian says?
No, it's what goblins crave. No one knows. It's a secret alchemical substance.
Okay, right. I'm gonna table that discussion for later.
Okay. So who's got the key?
I guess I picked it up to
Yep.
like check stuff, so I'll just go slot it in.
You slot it into the mechanism, and one charge is reduced from the key as the last heavy bolt is released from this door, and it slides open, revealing a long hall filled with what can only be described as a massive foundry. And
Any more fun
at
shadows?
the end of this hallway, you see a figure slumped in the darkness. And that is where we're going to end tonight's session. Thank you all very much for joining us this evening, everybody. I hope you had fun. I hope you enjoyed. We're going to find out some more about the city of Tharandan in 2 weeks' time. Thank you all very much for joining us. Have a very good evening, everyone, and a very good night. And we shall see you all next time. Bye-bye, everybody. Ta-ta for now.
Bye.
Hold on,
Goodbye.
let me get the raid thing up. Let me get the raid thing up. It's
Goodbye.
It's taking so long to load. We're gonna go raid and edit Edward. Goodbye, everybody. If it'll come on, Google, not Google, Twitch.
Google.
I sure love the owners of Twitch.com, Google.
I mean, at this point, they might as well be. You know?
No, we're owned by
Goggle.com.
Amazon, which is
That-
totally distinct.
Yes.
Yeah,
Here we
Amazon
go.
on my .com till I Google.